Have you said, what did I miss? What could I have done? What could I have seen during the
Of course. I mean, those questions are natural.
Yikes! What the fudge? Yikes! Yikes! How many questions? How many different ways do you need to ask these people, how are they hurting? Or are you hurting? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Attack on Cowboys. And, man, we were about to hear from head coach Brian Schottenheimer for the first time since the tragic passing of Marshawn Kneeland. Let's get right into it, as we do still have some football left to play, ladies and gentlemen. I know some of y'all, man, y'all responses, man, they're either way over there or way over there, bro. Y'all be wild. Somebody was like, I can't believe you guys are even thinking or talking about football after a young man just took his life. I was like, hey, bro, I get it, but these bills don't stop and the world keeps moving. I'm not saying we don't care, but I'm saying, man, people still got stuff they got to take care of, man. That everything just can't shut down because this happened. Yes, we paid our respects and everything else like that. We're going to continue to do so, but, man, y'all better calm down. Quit taking y'all anger out on me, man. It's misplaced. Man, shut your up. All right, let's get right into it, man. We got Brian Schottenheimer talking about moving forward.
I'd like to just take a few moments and offer my condolences to Marshawn's family, Catalina, his girlfriend, and we had an opportunity last night to celebrate Marshawn's life, tell some stories, share, laugh, cry. Marshawn loved the words "one love," so we talked a lot about love as we grieve, and I just got a chance to really share a couple of things that I'll miss the most about Marshawn. Those top couple things was he had the most playful spirit of any young man I've been around.
Man,
his smile.
This thing has
and
completely
in terms
turned,
of him as an athlete.
This thing has completely turned just the outlook and the tempo and tone of this season upside down on its head. I get it. It really is hard to even. All right, so Las Vegas Raiders Monday. It's hard. It really is. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. And y'all know I'm not trying to be insensitive. But gosh. Unfortunately, I wish everything would go on pause. I feel like the world absolutely should stop. That's what it feels like should happen. For real. Anytime tragedy strikes or you lose a loved one, it genuinely feels like everything in the world should stop moving. And if you're not stopping moving, then it feels like disrespect. It 100% does, and I get it. But it's hard. This is going to be very interesting to see how they move forward, because they have to. They have to move forward.
No one had a better motor than him. So my heart is heavy. Our team's heart is heavy.
It's tough.
We don't move on, but we do move forward.
Yep.
Open up to questions.
Alvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How do you help your team, the staff, just kind of heal and try to, as you said, move forward?
Yeah, it's a process. There's been a lot of conversations with people that are clearly more of an expert than I am in dealing with grief. We've started the process in terms of Monday. The way we set up the schedule was I wanted just to, the problem, this happened, we're all in the bye, right? So you're making phone calls with people and you're trying to make sense of things and you're not together. And we're always going to be stronger together. We are stronger together. So Monday we set it up to where we had a chance to be together and share and talk. And, we of course offered some people that can help us sort through what we're feeling and the emotions of what we're feeling. And yesterday we had what we call a brotherhood breakfast, where we just sat down for about 45 minutes and we just ate together and we just shared and we talked and laughed, cried. And then last night I think the vigil was beautifully done. It was difficult, as you can imagine.
Man.
A couple of our players spoke.
I mean, the entire tone of this thing, it's hard.
It's the one thing that Catalina, his girlfriend, that was very important to her. of course these guys are incredible, and so they showed up in droves to be there to support her.
You talk to any other coaches? You have mentors. I don't know if you call DQ or Mike.
Man, I'm so glad that I caught this while I was editing this mug back. Calvin Watkins, you old dumb. Did you really just ask this man if he called Micah or DQ to figure out how to get through it?
About what do I do? How do I help?
Yeah, I've talked to multiple people. I've talked to coaches. I've talked to, trained psychologists. I've talked to, we've got a great relationship with O2X. They're, former, special operations people. They deal with this, more so than we do on the battlefield and off the battlefield. And but there's no playbook. There's really not. And so that's where the late nights come in. And
difficult.
But the biggest thing for me is being strong for our football team. We've got an incredible locker room. That's where the culture of what we're trying to build. We are bonded more than any of us ever could have thought.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Could you take us back to that night? And we haven't had a chance to talk to you about how you found out, your initial emotions, and what you were doing, and what did you do?
Yeah, Clarence, I'm going to be limited with the details. I apologize. I know you guys have to ask those questions. It's been a week now, but the biggest thing was got a phone call, and of course we were in the moment we had reason to be concerned about Marshawn, and so we moved forward with what we thought was the best plan of attack, and a little while later we got word, and I think I'll leave it at that. It's just difficult to talk about still.
This is, I'm about to say, this is,
but
is this appropriate? I mean, a serious question, and I get it. Like Schotty said, these guys have to ask certain questions. They do. They're not doing their job if they don't. But is it really appropriate to make someone have to walk themselves back through the ins and outs of how they felt and all this stuff about something like this? I mean, you're not going to give it a couple of months. Does anybody need the instant reaction to Coach Schotty to, how did you react to getting the phone call that such and such passed away? Like, do we need that instant reaction? Is that going to be your hottest selling article? Or do we think that article could probably wait till the summer? When there's nothing going on football-wise. Like, don't you think that these guys will maybe appreciate that we could just kind of steer this thing back towards football-related questions? And I'm pretty sure they would understand if y'all were even like, hey, man, I'm going to try to keep this away from anything that, these sensitive topics. I know people are still healing. They're going through their grieving processes. It just really feels like it's in bad taste to start wanting people to give you a play-by-play of how they felt, what happened, and all this stuff 5-6 days after someone passed away. Like, and we're going to continue to say passed away because I don't have to be specific, bruh. But the man passed away. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. That's not that's not anything where anybody's morally wrong or blah, 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 or anything like that, morally bankrupt or anything. But maybe it's just me and how I was raised. That just don't feel like it's a good taste, man.
Proud of our guys and the way they've handled this. We had a Zoom meeting on Thursday where guys could get on, and it was very heartfelt, some of the emotions, and
Schotty, you're going to have to...
It's a strong group, man. It's a strong group of young men, and we're leaning on one another.
Schotty, we're going to have to pick it up, brother.
One thing I've learned that's interesting is, when you talk to some of the experts, you guys probably do it as well, right? Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. And their sense is that's not the right question. It's, what are you feeling? So that was pretty powerful for me.
I know you guys are doing the helmet decals.
Like that.
Are you going to leave the locker as is? How do you... I know it's just beginning. You're still trying to get these answers. How you?
Yeah, Jesus!
Again, we're going to honor...
What the... Bro, like, just let it play out. Let it play out. They don't need to lay out to us their plans of honoring Marshawn, Clarence. You don't need to scoop on how they plan to honor their fallen brother. Bro, let them organically do what they gonna do. What is up with these questions?
Marshawn, his family, a number of different ways. The organization, have been amazing.
Has the man's
we've started.
Has the man's funeral even taken place yet? I don't believe so. The man's funeral hasn't even taken place. That's what I'm saying, bro. People are in such a rush to get the scoop. Man, let this thing play out organically and then go get all the answers and the feedback and the retrospective that you need on the situation. But oh my gosh, this is making me cringe, bro.
The Marshawn Kneeland Memorial Fund, where we can all give and support Catalina. And she's pregnant, and so we want to make sure she's taken care of and the baby's taken care of for the rest of their lives. Our guys are it's very important to them and to us.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. Football players and coaches, you guys can compartmentalize things and able to drive through things.
Man, he don't look okay.
How do you drive through something like this? How do you get through something like this?
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to hit everybody different. I literally wasn't sure I could get through my part of last night speaking at his candlelight vigil, and I did. You just take it one day at a time, and you don't have to have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. We probably won't have all the answers, but you lean into one another, you love on one another. I go back to, the culture and the guys in that locker room will be okay because of the strength that they draw from one another. And we've got some guys that have been through this. I've never been through something like this, this close, that hits this close to home. There's guys that I can draw from with their experiences, and everybody deals with it different. Some guys getting out on the grass is going to be the best thing in the world for them. Some guys getting out on the grass is going to be painful, and that's okay. And we're going to give each other grace and time. But I do promise you this, these guys will be ready to play against the Raiders. And we will honor Marshawn with how we play, not just against the Raiders, but for the rest of the season.
You talk about the culture that you've built and the talks you've had with guys, and I'm sure everybody does. Have you said, what did I miss? What could I have done? What could I have seen during
Of course. I mean, those questions are natural.
Yikes! What the fudge? Yikes! Yikes! What are we doing? 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 Y'all aren't therapists, reporters. Y'all aren't there. Y'all just there to ask questions. So when you ask a question that could imply a sense of responsibility for something tragic like this on anybody other than the parties it happened to, I mean, my goodness. Whoa, yikes.
You try not to think about them, but when you're having very open and authentic
Oh my gosh,
conversations with these guys, the pain is real. The questions are real. But again, the more you talk to the experts, the people that deal with this, all the
very
time,
distasteful in the
they say
interview.
a lot of times you're never going to know, and so, but I'd be lying if I said to you, I don't wake up in the middle of the night or when I'm on the phone talking to one of these guys, have those thoughts like you do.
John Machado with The Athletic. I just wondering, I know you mentioned the One Love part at the beginning, but is there any other type, maybe a moment that stands out to you, your first time being around Marshawn, or just maybe around the facility or during a game or something that you're just thinking of, that you've been thinking about lately?
There's a lot of them. Again, I think I was able to share last night, so we do these, when O2X came in, we did these surveys, and so you got a chance to, you ask the players different questions and try to get to know them on a deeper level, and all
It's
the players
like-
and coaches fill them out. And
I'm gonna let him keep
just the
talking.
maturity.
It's like our media couldn't wait to just ask all the most unnecessary and emotionally dismissive questions they could possibly ask, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest. We don't need y'all to write articles about this. We don't. Like, people are grieving. People are going through a very real life situation. We don't need y'all to populate the entire media with just countless articles of stuff that can wait. All these questions y'all are asking, all the questions about how you feel, how you process, and that stuff can wait. Or honestly, it feels more so like personal questions. But this type of stuff should be waiting, bro. Like I said, we do not need an instant reaction to this degree. I mean, I could understand, hey, what did Marshawn mean to you guys? You know, questions that would lead to the people answering the questions being able to honor that deceased person's memory. But some of these questions are like emotionally like disregarding the people they're asking the questions to, and it's a little cringy. Not necessarily so much as the one that John just asked. It was still kind of like, we can wait. But man, some of these questions have been disgusting, bro.
We go back to, his touchdown the other night, because just the excitement on his face, and it was a huge part in that game for us. Gave us the potential for a momentum swing. But when you talk about practice players and the way they work, from a OTA to a walkthrough to a game to whatever, you'd be hard pressed to ask anybody in that locker room if anybody worked harder than Marshawn.
And just what were your thoughts when you see that teams around the league, they're doing like moments of silence, things like that? Just what were your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a special league, guys. I mean, we're blessed to be a part of this league.
Fair.
The outpouring of support for not just me, but our players and ownership. And that's what we love about this league. And that's what we love about this small fraternity of people that we get to be involved with. And if I could show you my phone right now, just the text message that you get from people just showing you love and support and prayer. And, that's a big thing for me right now. Spend a lot of time in prayer and looking for answers. But, yeah, the National Football League it's an amazing fraternity, and I feel blessed, and I know our players do, to be a part of it because of the support that we're receiving. But we do this together. We like I said, we don't move on, but we do move forward, and we do that together, and we do that by locking arms and working and grieving and growing and processing together.
Nick Harris, Full Star Telegram. Whether it be talking to guys on this team, his family, or just thinking back, is there any story that you've learned over the course of the last week about Marshawn that stood out as you talk about his genuine love, that part of it?
I'll share this.
Nigga, you just asked the same question that John just asked. Nick, listen.
His high school coach is a guy by the name of Brandon Kimball, and in Marshawn's survey that he filled out, he talked about. We asked who, 3 H's: hero, highlight, hardship, and his hero was Coach Kimball. And Coach Kimball spoke last night. I got a chance to visit with him. Very emotional. His reasoning for that Coach Kimball was his hero was because he always looked out for him. And I think it shows you as a coach. I thanked him, number one, for that. I thought it was important that he heard that from me. And I also challenged our coaches to understand the impact that we're allowed and blessed and fortunate to have to impact these young men. And not just as football players, but as husbands, fathers, Christians. And so I think the fact that he chose his high school coach shows you the value of relationships to Marshawn and how much he loves the game of football and how much he loved people.
I don't like injecting religion into
the league. It's said Thursday morning that they sent
religion and
how
politics.
valuable those resources then. Are they still in the building?
Yeah, yes.
Not when it comes to what you're teaching or trying to instill with your players, because you have a locker room full of a bunch of different people and with a bunch of different walks of life and a bunch of different beliefs. And I don't believe in trying to Mark Jackson a locker room, because remember that's what Golden State got rid of Mark Jackson for, leaning too much into trying to inject religion into how he coaches football or how he coaches basketball. So,
Again, the league's been great. Our in-house people have been outstanding.
Has nothing to do with my
doing
own
it
faith.
Together, but we feel like we've got incredible support. But at the same time, it's us working through this together,
Christian
and
support.
it's us showing us grace. We're a week out, right? Today's a week out, and it's not going to get easier. It's going to get different, And but I think the plan of getting out on the grass tomorrow and running around a little bit will be, like I said, therapeutic for some of these guys, and for some of the guys that are hurting, that's okay too.
Tom.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. You mentioned the culture and your leaders during this time. For some of the guys who have unfortunately dealt with this before, like Dak and Solomon, how big have they been for your group throughout the past week?
Those are two of the best leaders in the league, in my opinion. We're fortunate to have them. Unfortunately, they're able to talk about something that has been very, devastating for them in their past. And but it's not just them. I think, we were able to have some, breakout sessions on Monday where we were able to share, and there's a lot of emotions. And I'm not going to get into the details of those things, but
why are we asking?
it was hard to hear the pain that some of these guys are dealing with, but it was also very
You know what pisses
uplifting to
this?
hear
You know why it's
this.
pissing me off? Because these reporters are only asking all these questions because they're treating this whole situation like a story. They're treating this whole situation like, oh, this is a big story. We have to cover it in depth, backwards and frontwards, and A to Z. It's not a story. It's a real life moment. Let these people have a real life way to grieve for a while before y'all start to do this. And honestly, this setting, this medium, asking 24 minutes about, so how did people react? How did they respond? Who said what about them? This is weird, bro. This is weird.
strength from other guys, and that's the beauty of a team.
And
right?
Shotty's
When
handling it
one side of the
perfectly
ball's
with
playing
grace,
good,
but
the other
this
side of
is
the ball has to
weird
pick 'em up. When one
from the
guy's hurting,
reporters.
someone else has to pick them up. If the head coach is hurting, someone's got to pick me up, and I won't. Now I'm hurting.
So,
And,
stop asking
pick
this
me
dude.
and I've picked them up, and that's what we're going to continue to do because we love one another, and it's what a family does.
Joe.
Joe Wade, Dallas Morning News. Kind of on that note, you have a lot of people with you in this kind of situation. How do you check in on yourself and check in on some of the other coaches people are looking to them to make sure they're also doing okay?
Constantly, yeah. I mean, it's constant.
The same motherfucking way he just described he helped everyone. Y'all niggas are asking the dumbest ass questions.
I think it's a little bit like a doctor where you're making the rounds. You just identifying, okay, I need to talk to this guy. When it broke, I tried to get to every player I could get to. And guys have been great sharing. I always ask before I get off a call or from talking to a guy, hey, anybody I need to be concerned about or whatnot. And guys are, I think that's the thing I'm most proud of that we've built is the culture where guys are able to be real and have hard conversations. And I would change it if I could that we're going through this, but I think that this group of young men are very strong, and they're going to lean into one another. And
I'm frustrated
okay.
with
Patrick.
the fact that they're making Shotty.
First and foremost, sorry for the loss, obviously. For those inside the building, very.
Patrick Walker's the only person that before asking his question said, first and foremost, sorry for the loss. The only person. He's the only human being that's just there and decided to be human for a couple of seconds before he got back to his job.
Well, the Cowboys and the resources they put into mental health, and then of course you have guys that do work in the community as well, Dak Salmon and so many others. But for the fans that are wondering, what are some of those examples of resources internally that you guys have for players to be able to come to and voice themselves? I don't know if there's any that you could share for the general public just to let fans know that, hey, this is what we're doing.
yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to get into specifics.
Yeah.
details,
And Pat, I get it. You asking that question on behalf of the fans, but Pat, I'll say this to those fans. Man, y'all shut the fuck up and let these people do what they need to do, bro. What the hell is them having to explain to you what their process of grieving and dealing with their mental situations is? What is that going to do for you? Nothing, bruh. People need to learn to stay in their own damn lane.
team of people. I think we had 7 grief specialists, I guess you would say, in the building the other day for those breakout
If you're one of those
sessions.
people that's that curious,
talking to the players, letting
if you're one of those people that's that curious about what systems do they have in place to help the players, man, shut your bitch ass up and go take a tour at the Star. Or apply to be a medical doctor or something instead of just trying to be nosy, just to ask that question to criticize and be like, see, they didn't have this in place. That's the only reason people want to know that question or the answer to that question, weird ass folks.
we're asking the right questions
Man,
to
this
get them
is
to share
pissing me off.
so that we can help process all the different emotions. But it's been incredible, the support system that we've had.
We are
just from our
almost
operations
20
people to
minutes
support staff
into
to the doc.
20 minutes into the interview. Talking about nothing but Marshawn Kneeland so far.
But we still miss our brother.
And
Marshawn.
Schotty tried to offer them an opportunity to start talking about football twice already. Twice. When he brought up we don't move on, we move forward. And then when he brought up these guys will be ready to play against the Raiders. The follow-up natural transition was, how do you get these guys prepared and focused on playing a game on Monday? Why did nobody ask that?
Garrett.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, you said you've never really gone through something like this before. How do you feel like going through something like this will affect or mold just the way you are as a coach and a person going forward?
I told the players the other day, and I mean it, they're going to probably get tired of it, but I'm going to always tell them how much I love them. And I do. I love them. I care about them. Probably never be the same, to be honest with you. I'm a people person anyways, but
you know what? Y'all, I can't. This is the first time we're going to do this, but I am cutting this interview short because I see it. If they try to ask football questions with 5 minutes remaining in this interview, shame on them goofies, bro. But I see nobody up there in that damn interview press scrum, besides maybe Patrick Walker. John didn't ask too crazy of a question, but everyone else is trying to get they're treating this like a story, bro. How many questions, how many different ways do you need to ask these people, how are they hurting, or are you hurting? Bro, see y'all on the next one, bro. I see y'all on the next one. How about them Cowboys?
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.